All right, before we get started, just a quick heads up. This is part 15 of a 20-part overview of a much bigger report from Virtualization Options LLC, all about setting up a really effective AI training program. So we're just scratching the surface here. If you want to talk about your own options, you should probably contact Virtualization Options LLC directly. And of course, just remember this overview comes with no warranty. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into it because this section raises some really fascinating points about global training. So let's set the scene. Your company has teams all over the world, right? And you've done the right thing. You've rolled out a standard AI security training program for everybody. You've checked that compliance box. But here's the million-dollar question. Is it actually working? Is that critical knowledge really landing, or is it just getting lost in translation? And that question leads us directly to a huge pitfall, one the source material calls the translation trap. This is what happens when companies think that just swapping out the language, translating the content from English to Japanese or German, is enough to call it a global program. And the result of that thinking? Well, it's pretty bleak. You end up with what the report perfectly describes as compliance clicks without genuine knowledge transfer. Basically, your employees are just clicking through the slides to get it done. They mark it complete, but nothing really changes. The crucial security behaviors you need, they never stick, because the message just didn't connect. You can really see the difference laid out plain as day here. On one side, you've got that translation trap. It's totally literal, it completely ignores local context, and surprise, surprise, engagement is in the basement. But on the other side, you have what this report calls true localization. It's nuanced, it's super context-aware, and most importantly, it's actually actionable for an employee in their own specific environment. So, how do we get out of the trap and get to that true localization? Well, it means building your program on some solid pillars. This isn't just about translating words anymore. It's about translating entire concepts into completely different worlds. And here's what that actually means in practice. True localization has to consider 4 key things. First, language and cultural norms. An example that makes perfect sense in the US might be totally confusing or even irrelevant in India. Second, the regional threat landscape. Phishing scams in Asia can look way different than the ones targeting folks in Europe. Third, the local regulatory context. You got to think about things like GDPR. And finally, technology access patterns. Are people on company laptops or their own personal phones? All these little details add up, and they matter a lot. Yeah, this image really nails it. A truly global program isn't some one-size-fits-all template. It's more like a centrally managed strategy that's brought to life through many local voices that speak the specific language of regional risks, local laws, and cultural nuances. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually make it happen? How do you put this into practice? Well, the report lays out a pretty clear step-by-step approach to make this localization thing a reality. The whole thing really boils down to 2 main phases. Phase 1 is the big one, full deployment and localization. This is where you do the heavy lifting, the organization-wide rollout, the deep dive content localization for your most important regions, and building up your own internal team skills. Then you move to phase 2, which is what makes it last, a continuous optimization partnership. This means you're doing quarterly reviews, you're refreshing content as new threats pop up, and you're planning ahead each year to keep the program evolving. And this next point is absolutely crucial. The goal here isn't to make your company dependent on some outside vendor forever. No way. It's about building organizational self-sufficiency. It's about empowering your own teams so they can run, manage, and evolve this program themselves over the long haul. So you put in all this effort, right? The deep localization, the phased rollout, the focus on building your own capabilities. Why? What's the real payoff here? Why does all this trouble matter? It matters because what you get in the end is a training program that's just fundamentally different. It's not just another task your employees have to check off a list. It's a tool that genuinely works. It becomes credible, comprehensible, and actionable. Let's break that down. It's credible because the examples and scenarios actually reflect what your employees see every single day. It's comprehensible because it speaks their language, not just literally, but culturally. And the most important part, it's actionable. Employees don't just understand a risk in theory. They know exactly what they need to do to stop it, right there in their own context. That right there is the difference between checking a box and building a real human firewall. So as we wrap up this part of the overview, it really leaves us with one last Big question we should all be asking about our own programs. Take a hard look at your global training strategy. Is it actually building a strong, layered global defense? Or is it just creating a very long, very global compliance checklist? Because the answer to that question makes all the difference in the world.